Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Zishan Isaac with Zishan on air every Sunday, 6 p.m. and onwards, right here on social media. All of you who are watching me live, I welcome you all. And those of you who cannot watch me live, I highly suggest connect with me on Facebook, Zishan Isaac, or on YouTube. We are also live on YouTube. So social media platforms are very important these days. So not only we are on traditional media, but with hundreds and thousands of outreach through the social media, because this is the era of social media we're living in. A lot of people get this information, especially about news, as well from social media. And with that, I would like to start off with the interesting Proclamation Act by President of the United States of America, President Trump. This is basically the Alien Enemies Act, and it's from the 17th century. What I can tell you, and those who can watch me live, notice to aliens of enemy nationalities. This was issued by the United States Department of Justice back during the 1812. Then it was invoked, I would say, during First World War and First World War II, and then First World War and then World War II. And during World War II, the United States government requires, and this is the notice I'm reading to you, and those who can watch me live, they can read it live. The United States government requires all aliens of German, Italian, or Japanese nationality to apply at post offices nearest to their place of residence for a certificate of identification. And then it reads a little bit more. So there is a precedent, and that precedent was set and invoked by the president 3 times, but President Truman, in fact, carried it for another 6 years, and some other presidents, President Wilson, Woodrow Wilson, he also extended it and applied it. But it was invoked 3 times, as I said, the War of 1812 against the United Kingdom, then during First World War, World War I, and then Second World War. And now, with regards to this particular information, the judge, and this judge is a federal judge, he has actually blocked Trump's use of 1798 law to speed up the deportations, but some migrants are still removed. And this is where, as I mentioned it last time, and then in the previous address, State of the Union address, in his address, President Trump also mentioned about the Venezuelan gangs and the drug cartels, and they all have been now labeled as terrorist organizations. So a lot of criminals have been removed. So that's good news. Violent criminals and violent acts are not something that would be welcomed by any society, given we live in a great country where almost 340 million plus people live here. So there are people from all different backgrounds, but at the same time, acts of violence are considered as acts of violence anywhere. So we want to have a very peaceful and safe society. So with that being said, now how this will be implemented, will it go beyond the traditional nationalities with regards to, because we're not at war at this time, right? So there's also this report from New York Times that there would be some countries that would have all travel ban. And this all travel bar basically would be on Afghanistan, Bahrain, this is reported, Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. And this is what the New York Times have published, and they have basically quoted this official. And there are other lists. So it's the red, orange, and yellow list. So this is the red list that I've just mentioned, and this is the draft. In the orange list, there are more countries. And that's where some African American countries, not African American, just African countries are listed. And then like Burisma, and then Eritrea, Haiti, and then Laos, and Myanmar, Pakistan, and Pakistan is in Asia, South Asia, Russia, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, and Turkmenistan. And then these are basically visas would be sharply restricted. It's already very difficult to get visas from these countries, but now with this, I would say, administration act, it would be very difficult, I would say, to get visas from these countries. And then there's a list in yellow as well. It's a big list in yellow. And those who are watching me live just saw that list. So that's one thing. Now, another important news with regards to this trade war, Canada-US alliance, as many people know, and many people don't even know this, that bilateral trade is of $2.5 billion, goods and services that they transfer a day, every day, 2.5 billion. And that's at stake. 400,000 people cross between the countries every day, 400,000. US has maintained official presence in Canada since 1833, and then share the world's longest undefended border. These are some of the facts from US Embassy and consulates in Canada and Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP. So the incoming PM, and he's been sworn in, Canada will win this trade war. That's what the incoming Canadian PM has said. And who is basically the incoming PM? Mark Carney. And let me just tell you, he was the governor of Bank of Canada, and he was also the only non-British citizen who was the governor of Bank of England. So he comes with a lot of banking experience and running central banks of Canada and then England, and as part of UK, I would say. So he is the new Liberal Party leader. He's the incoming PM. He's going to obviously ask for the elections, and right now the momentum has again changed toward the Liberal Party of Canada. And former UN Climate Action Finance Envoy, he's also that. There's also some development in terms of Doug Ford. He's the Premier of Ontario. He has imposed some tariffs, 25% tariff on the electricity that would be supplied to Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. That decision was, he made that decision, but then there was some conflicting information that it was reversed, and then President Trump applied some more tariffs in retaliation. So there's still this trade war going on between the Trump administration and then Canada, Canadian government. Fentanyl seized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection in 2024, total amount that was seized, 21,889 pounds, so almost 22,000 pounds. But with the northern border, which is so secure, and they have taken additional steps, our friends and neighbors up north, only 43 pounds seized at northern border in 2024. And then this is the source, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. But if you look at the numbers, even now, since January to now, it's even negligible in ounces, they're saying, as reported. So I hope calmer minds prevail. I hope there is this negotiation that is going on between Canada and US that should impact positively with all the Americans and all the Canadians. We are great neighbors. And then I also hope that the discussions were productive when Secretary of State Marco Rubio visited Canada, and there were some reports that the red carpet was just very small, but it was still a red carpet. But yes, it's very tough times of relationship, tested times, and very interesting times in terms of US and Canada when it comes to the relations between the two great countries as well. So let's see, we will keep an eye on it. And then with regards to this Sedition Acts and Alien Enemies Act, this is serious. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, US Federal Judge James, he basically has put a stop to it, but it would be a temporary stop. And then let's see how that would shape up, because then the president gets unlimited powers, because the Alien Enemies Act, or this act from 1798, it basically has given the president unlimited power to actually round up any U.S. non-U.S. national, any national of any other country who is not a U.S. citizen, and he can deport that person. President Trump can deport that person without any due process of law, because this law was invoked during the War of 1812, First World War, and then Second World War. and it was only invoked because the United States of America was at war. But right now, the United States of America is not at war, so that's why it's being challenged. But the attorneys will be making their case, and I think it might go to the U.S. Supreme Court if this is not settled within the U.S. federal court. So, with that, I'm going to sign off from the social media. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed our YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Zishan on Air on YouTube, and then please connect with me on Facebook Live as well. With that, I'll continue with the program right here on the traditional media. And we'll see you next Sunday at 6 p.m. and have a nice and safe Super Week. And thanks for joining in, and continue to spread the word. And this is all about us. It's all about making sure that we live in a country where everyone plays a productive role, and we also hold those who we elected accountable. And let's make sure that we always play a very constructive role as a civilian, as a citizen, and as an American, because this is my country, this is your country, this is our country. And we've got to be very focused on ensuring that we live in a country that is a beacon of hope, and the country where people always aspire to migrate to and even build their lives. And we still are always in search and pursuit of people who are the entrepreneurs, because that's what this country is all about. People who have built this country, and they've been entrepreneurs, professionals, and people from all different walks of life. So with that, signing off, and thanks for watching.